This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better. Kevin Trudeau here. Everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Thank you for joining me. Have a great show today. I am Kevin Trudeau, marketing genius today. And you know, I actually have been called by the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the London Times, the Sydney Times, Fortune Magazine, U.S. News and World Reports, all these big publications. I've been called a no, seriously, I've been called a I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way, but I have been called a marketing genius, America's marketing guru, the master of modern day marketing, and the Infomercial King, because I produce so many infomercials. I think it's the highest number of winning infomercials and the highest percentage of winning infomercials, and I think the highest gross sales of infomercials than anybody else in history, I think, when you put it in today's dollars, because I started in 1989. But I wanted to give you some information because a lot of people watching are interested in making more money. And if you went through any of my training, like Your Wish is Your Command, I talk about the training balance scale. And what that means is, if you're going to be going through some and getting some training on how to improve the quality of your life, or training on how to make money, or training on how to manifest stuff, or training on anything, there's a balance of where the training should come from, or what type of training you should engage in. On one side of the training balance scale is technique, skills, methods, strategies, techniques, the action steps, the things you specifically do, the how-to. Most people, when they want to learn something, they spend all their time training on the how-to, the technique, the method, the strategy. But they don't spend a lot of time on the other side of the training balance scale, which is the attitude, the motivation, the inspiration, the way of thinking, your vibration, attitude, thoughts. Thoughts are things. You're not trained on how do rich people or successful people think. How do rich people vibrate? How do rich people, what type of attitude does a rich person have? Remember, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude in life. In other words, it's your attitude, the way you think, the way you vibrate, not your aptitude, what you know, the skills, the techniques. The attitude is more important than the skills and techniques, because without the right vibration, without the right attitude, if you apply and do all the right things, you're still not going to get great results. But if you have the right attitude and the right vibration and you're vibrating properly, then even if you do the wrong things, if you don't use the wrong technique, you're still going to get spectacular results. This is kind of a magical truism in marketing as well. I learned the secrets of mass communication, the secrets of marketing, the secrets of selling, the secrets of getting people to make a positive decision or say yes to an offer and succeed in business from my training in the Brotherhood. And I teach that in the Success Mastery course and the Science of Personal Mastery course and all the other things that I have available. There are some specific communication techniques that I do employ. Even when I didn't employ them properly, because I had the right attitude or vibration, they worked. So let me tell you a story. Because I was called the Infomercial King, I produced this one particular infomercial, TV infomercial. It's a 28-minute and 30-second long-form show that was designed to sell a product and get people to say, yes, I want to buy that product, and they had to call an 800 number in order to buy it. That's an infomercial. Very big in the 90s. Started in 1989. When I started, actually started in 1984, but it really exploded in the 90s. In these infomercials, there was a lot of companies out there. One of them was publicly traded, called National Media Corporation. Sylvester Stallone, I believe, was a big investor in that company. That went bankrupt. There was Synchronol, which became Regal in New York. They went bankrupt. There was so many companies that went bankrupt because they didn't understand what they were even doing that created their initial success. And initially, what created their success was there was a person who they put on TV who looked in the camera and told people about their product, whether it was a handheld mixer. There was one of the first infomercials that Quantum Marketing did with Kevin Harrington called the Daily Mixer. And the woman who presented it was just obsessed with this. She told everybody about it because to her it was the greatest kitchen gadget in the world. Saved time. It was easy to clean. It created phenomenal results. And when she went on, she just looked at the camera and told people how great it was and demonstrated it, and it sold $100 million worth of mixers. When I went on and sold Mega Memory, I was passionate about it. I saw the results people got in their lives when they went through the Mega Memory course. It improved their brain function, made them better students, gave them more self-confidence and self-esteem, improved the quality of life and everything, made them succeed easier in every endeavor. So I was very passionate about it, and we sold $450 million worth of Mega Memory courses. When other people would get on and talk, Carlton Sheets would talk about how to buy real estate with no money down. Well, he had made $50 million buying real estate with little or no money down, and then he taught courses on how to do it because he did it, and he wanted other people to do it too. And it was that passion that created the success. Tony Robbins went out with Personal Power. That was produced by a company called Guthy-Renker Corporation, and he talked about the training that he got with Jim Rohn and with John Grinder, primarily one of the co-founders of Neurolinguistic Programming, and how that training really transformed his life. And then he was now teaching others motivation and inspiration and powerful, very effective techniques in a very outstanding way. And when he would look in the camera and tell people about it, people bought, and it did extremely well. And so a lot of these companies had one of those guys, right? And then they thought, oh, we can produce tons of infomercials. And they got investors, and they started producing infomercials, and then it was failure. And they didn't understand why. Guthy-Renker Corporation, which was one of the largest companies in the world, they did Tony Robbins' product, looked at one of my infomercials and said, we're going to do a knockoff. We're going to do a product that's pretty much exactly the same that Kevin's selling. We're going to take his infomercial. We're going to build a set that look exactly like it. We're going to hire two people, one that looks like Kevin and one that looks like the guy who was interviewing Kevin. We're going to take Kevin's, we're going to transcribe everything that went in that show. We're going to look at the camera angles and lighting, and we're going to duplicate the show. We're just going to duplicate it. We're just going to copy it 100%. And Bill Guthy, or it was either Bill or Greg Renker, one of those two, they told me that they did this. And the show failed. And they couldn't believe it. They said, how is it possible that we duplicated, virtually copied Kevin's show, but it's failing, but Kevin's show works and it's making him a fortune? How is that possible? And they came to me and they told me what they had done. Not embarrassed about it. We have no issues in that industry. And they said, but they were scratching their head. And they said, why didn't it work? And I says, well, because you missed the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient was me. I wasn't in the show. Really, it wasn't me. It was a person who was selling a product that they 100% believed in. That's what was missing. You hired an actor, and that actor was acting like he believed in the product, but he didn't believe in the product. What was missing was the energy. So that's the most important thing in selling. I wasn't trying to sell my product, Mega Memory. I was trying to improve the quality of people's lives. There's a difference. A big difference. Think about that. The technique that I used in the selling, there are many. One is facts tell, stories sell. I'm going to show you now the third TV infomercial for Mega Memory. The first one I showed previously, if you haven't seen it, you're here at the Kevin Trudeau Show channel either on YouTube or Rumble or Apple or Spotify or one of the other platforms, you can scroll back, and I showed the very first infomercial I did in 1989. The second one I did was with Andy Anderson. We're trying to find that show. That it's missing. We can't even find it. We're going to try to find it. The third infomercial, the third Mega Memory Infomercial, was a show that I produced. I built a set to look like a nighttime talk show. And the host of this fictitious nighttime talk show was Danny Bonaducci. So I built a set to look like a nighttime live talk show with a band and a host, and the host was going to interview me. So it was like I was coming out on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon or something, or one of those nighttime talk shows. So this was the Danny Bonaducci show. So he came out, it was a band, he gave a little monologue, he sits down at the desk, and then it brings me out, and then we do a live unscripted interview. And then I sell the course, and it did, this particular infomercial, I don't know how many hundreds of millions it sold, but it was just ridiculous, the success of it. But if you watch this infomercial, or if you watch any of my infomercials, you're going to learn the secrets of marketing. I just got a phone call with a guy, which today, he's really regarded. Matter of fact, he just telegrammed me, we're going to have a meeting next week. He's regarded today as one of, if not the number one copywriter in the world. He's a young guy and ridiculously successful. His copy is producing ridiculous results. He is spectacular, an amazingly talented person. And he texted me and he said, "Oh my God, this is surreal." He said, "I watched all of your infomercials. I transcribed them. I learned how to sell and market by emulating what you did. I duplicated your success, and my success is beyond my wildest dreams." Duplicate success. Follow patterns of success. Follow proven successful formulas of success. Success can be duplicated. Most people try to reinvent the wheel. Duplicate the patterns of success that have been out there. And look, there's a lot of people. I'm not bragging that I'm the only one. But clearly, I had a pretty successful history, and I continue with the endeavors that I'm involved with. So if you're interested in marketing, I want to show you the Danny Bonaducci show. Watch this show. It gives you all the secrets of marketing. And I'll tell you more about it. But this also will give you an indication of, hey, this is Kevin Trudeau. You're watching him today. And this is Kevin Trudeau back in I think I recorded this in 1991. So you can see there's not a lot of difference. Take a look. 1991, we're going back in time, the Wayback Machine. We're going back in time to 1991 and take a look at the TV infomercial that I produced with my own company called Mega Systems, selling Mega Memory. Take a look at this.
Tonight, thank you. I'll tell you what the problem with Chevy was. He didn't play with the big boys. It's television. It's all about cars. It's who's got the best car. Leno, he's got himself a new Viper. Letterman, he drives a Viper. So what I do? I went out and got myself a Viper, and here it is. What can I tell you? I don't have their budget. Let's say hello to the house band, The Critics. Mr. Montaigne, how was your memory?
Oh, I'll tell you, Dan, I'm lucky I remembered how to get here today.
Yeah, I have the same problem myself. I'm really glad that memory expert Kevin Trudeau is on the show tonight because as you might expect, I don't have quite the memory I should. I always knew that I was on a TV show, but until I met Kevin, I always thought I was a member of the Brady Kids. Well, I'd like to bring out my first guest. He's memory expert Kevin Trudeau. He's the founder of the American Memory Institute, the world's largest memory training school, and author of the #1 self-improvement program in history, the Mega Memory. You've seen him on all the television shows. He's one of the most sought-after speakers and talk show guests in the country. Please make me help him feel welcome, Kevin Trudeau. to see you. Thanks for being on the show.
It's a pleasure.
All right, first thing, tell us about the American Memory Institute and Mega Memory.
Well, as you know, Dean, as you mentioned, what we are is we're the largest memory training school in the world today, and we teach people all around the world how to release the photographic memory that people have right now, or instant recall memory. Now, I call it a mega memory, so that people can do some pretty amazing things, like go into a room and meet 30 or 40 people and remember everyone's name. Right. Or a student can study for an exam and remember everything for the test and get a straight A. Or you can remember phone numbers, things to do, foreign languages, playing cards. Anything at all like that that helps people be more effective in their business, and even stop some of the absent-minded things. Like, did you ever have this happen to you? Did you ever walk into a room in your house and say, why did I come in there?
Almost every day.
Right? Or you go to the store to buy milk and come back with 10 things, but you don't have milk.
Right, exactly.
Or,
okay.
Where are my keys? Where did I park the car? All these little absent-minded things we help people when we develop and release the photographic memory that they have. And
the Mega Memory will do all that?
Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, we got to do a demonstration.
I was going to say, how about a little demonstration? I've seen some of these demonstrations from you before.
Yeah, and a lot of the other talk shows I've been on, and since we had...
Well, if it's on another talk show, I want it here.
Okay. So I had a chance to meet some of the audience before the show real quickly. If I met you, stand up. If I met you, just stand up real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the room real quick and call you out by name, by memory. If I get your name right, have a seat. If for some reason I miss, you have to remain standing for the rest of the show. So, okay, let's go over here. We have Danelle, have a seat. We have Neil, my nickname Haji, have a seat. Back there we have Nick, have a seat. I think it's York, have a seat. Rob, have a seat. Alana, have a seat. Matt, have a seat. Janine Nubani, have a seat. Jules Leave, have a seat. Ordo, have a seat. Anno, I believe it is, have a seat. John, have a seat. Don, have a seat. Let's have Julie have a seat. Floyd, have a seat. Amy in the back, have a seat. I think it's Charisse, have a seat. Debbie, have a seat. And then we have Gail, have a seat. Let's see. This is Paulie, have a seat. Brenda, have a seat. Jeff. We have Ed. And I believe it's Anna. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Udo. Okay, have a seat.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's just to give you an idea, Danny, just to give you an idea of what can be done when you have a trained memory. And it's something that everybody can do right now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Are some people just born lucky with a better memory than others?
Yeah, you know, it's probably one of the most common misconceptions. Some people think, oh, you know, he must have been lucky and born with a good memory, and I just don't have a good memory. That's not the case. Every single person has a photographic memory right now lying dormant. It's an ability that everybody has. You see, you remember everything that you see, hear, and think about. If it comes in through the senses, it is remembered. The problem, though, is recalling information.
Right.
And let me give you a good example. And think about this. Ask yourself this question. How many times has it happened to you where you walk into a bank or a grocery store and you see someone that you know? I mean, for like 5 years you know them, and you go, oh, hi. And as soon as you say hi, the name just goes completely blank in your mind. Does that happen to anybody here, right? And the whole day, doesn't it aggravate you? Like, I know this guy. What's his name? Can't remember. 3 days later, at 2 o'clock in the morning, from nowhere, the name just pops in your mind. Oh, it was Joe Smith. Now, the question is, did you ever really forget in the first place? No. The information was, in fact, in your memory. The problem was recalling it when you needed it.
When I remember it later, I'm so proud. I wake up my wife. It was Bob. That was at the bank.
Yeah. And it doesn't really help you then, you know.
No, right.
It happens a lot of times. You're 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're drinking coffee at your desk, and you go, oh, I forgot to call Harry at noon. Well, you didn't really forget. You did remember at 3, but unfortunately not just at noon when you needed it.
Right. Well, how does it work?
Well, let me just give you an idea of how the memory actually works and how the mind works so people have an idea. If you can imagine a filing cabinet, and in that filing cabinet there's 1,000 files, all alphabetized in alphabetical order. I go, hey, Danny, can you find me the Jones file? Boom, within seconds you can have that information at your fingertips.
Sure, it's under the J's.
Right, but what would happen if we took the same files and I entered them on the floor in this room, mixed them all up? I said, hey, could you find me the Harris file? You'd say, yeah, can you call me next Tuesday? I got to go through this big mess.
Right.
Your mind is exactly the same way. You meet people every day in your business that get their names. A student may be studying for an exam. You may be thinking of things to do. You may try reading things or watching television, or business professionals attending meetings. And all you're really doing is throwing information in the Grand Canyon of your mind. It's like taking that file folder and throwing it into a room arbitrarily. Then when you try to go back to recall it and you think, what was that guy's name? What was that phone number? What did I have to do today? What were the directions? You go blank and you think you forgot. You didn't forget. The information is in your memory. The problem is just misfiled. So what we actually developed when I developed the Mega Memory System is a way to teach the brain how to develop mental file folders. So when you see something, when you hear it, or even if you think about it, without doing anything, the information automatically goes into a mental file and can be instantly recalled, just like a person's name or anything at all.
All right, well, I went a little bit out of my way and made up a list of 15 things.
Okay.
Now, I wrote this down. You haven't seen it before. If you're at home or you in the audience want to try and remember these 15 things, give it a shot.
Yeah, as he calls them out, try your own two at home and here in the audience to see how well you can remember. Test your own memory.
All right, you ready? It's
Yes.
number 1 through 15. Number 1, Larry Wirt.
I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something behind that.
Yes, it's my boss's name, and I get $1,000 every time I mention it.
You did that on Arsenio, didn't you?
Now I'm doing it again. I know a good thing when I got a hold of it.
Okay, number 1's Larry Worth. Okay.
All right, number 2 is table.
Number 2's table, got it.
3, microphone.
Okay, 3's microphone, got it.
4, ashtray.
4 is ashtray, got it.
5, the name Art Eastland.
Okay, Art Eastland, got it.
All right, number 6 is a phone number. It's 541-2270.
541-2270, got it.
7, passion fruit.
Passion fruit, okay.
8, St. Lucia.
Okay, 8, St. Lucia.
9, Chicago.
9, Chicago.
10 is paper.
10's paper, got it.
11, watch.
Okay, got it. Watch.
12, book.
Got it, book.
13, Constance.
Okay, 13, Constance.
14, success.
14, success.
And 15, money.
Okay, 15, money. Now, we kind of did those at blistering speed, but you check and see how well I can recall these by memory. I think they go something like this. One was Larry Worth. 2, of course, was table. 3 was microphone. 4 was ashtray. 5 was Art Eastland. 6 was the telephone number 541-2270. 7 was passion fruit. 8 was St. Lucia. 9 was Chicago. 10, of course, was paper. 11 was watch. 12 was book. 13 was Constance, 14 success, and 15 was money. And back as I go, money, success. Then we have Constance, book, watch, paper, Chicago, St. Lucia, passion fruit, 541-2270. Then we have Art Eastland, ashtray, microphone, table. And the first one was Larry Worth, and that's forwards and backwards by memory.
That's spooky.
I gotta say something. I gotta say, because when people see me do that demonstration and remembering the names demonstration, I think people can be impressed with that and think, oh wow, that's something that's really impressive. And even though I think it is an impressive demonstration of what can be done with a trained memory, I tell people, please don't be impressed, because it's something that everyone can do right now. It's virtually an ability that everybody has.
Right, I know that to be true, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, when I was on your radio show, The Loop in Chicago, one of the things that you did, but I know you're not that into sports.
I am completely sports illiterate, as a matter of fact.
And he was being harassed a lot by the people calling up, the callers. And what you did in order to kind of make yourself a little bit more acclimated to the city was you took the Mega Memory course and committed to memory in about 30 minutes all of the Chicago Bears.
It's true.
Names, numbers, and positions.
Now,
I was there and I brought
this.
Yeah,
I
brought
dig this list.
Now, this was months ago, right?
Because I thought there were 11 people on a football team.
There's
Apparently, there's 14,000 people on the Bears. Look at that list. It's really over 50.
This is kind of a neat list. And we'll just do this. Was months ago that you did this to memory. So I just want to call a couple and test your own memory here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. What number? We'll start with an easy one. What number is Jim Harbaugh?
Easy, 4, and he's the quarterback.
Okay, that was an easy one. Let's go to some more obscure place. How about Ron Cox?
Ron Cox is number 54.
Right.
And he is a lineman.
Excellent. Okay. How about Keith Van Horn?
Keith Van Horn is number 78.
Right.
And he is a tackle.
Excellent. And we'll do another one. How about Percy Snow?
Percy Snow is number 96, and he is also a linebacker.
Not bad,
I cannot tell you how easy it was. It really wasn't difficult to do at all. It took about 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Mega Memory that's very unique, is the fact that it only takes a few hours to learn the technology, and when you release that photographic memory, learning anything, whether it be for a business, if you are in business, or if you're a student wanting to recall things for test time, or even just impress people, it's pretty easy to do.
Now, since I've done it on my radio show, a lot of people have asked me, isn't it all just word association?
Yeah, if anyone out there has ever read a book on how to improve your memory, and I'm sure many people have, that's what you're probably exposed to, basic word association. And you probably found out what I did. It doesn't work. Basic association is very difficult and very cumbersome to use. Now, I saw that problem evident also. So the Mega Memory technology is very unique, where it's the only memory improvement system in the world that doesn't use basic word association as the technique to help you remember. It simply consists of a series of mental exercises which stimulate 2 parts of the brain cell. And the big words are dendrites and neurotransmitters.
Oh yeah, I got lots of those.
Right. And all it virtually does is it releases the photographic memory people have. So your eye becomes like a wide-angle camera, virtually picking up and recording everything it sees, whether you're focused on it or not. Your ear becomes like a powerful tape recorder, virtually recording everything it hears, whether you're focused on it or not.
So you remember things without applying a technique. I can tell you a quick story. When I was on one of the other talk shows, one of the demonstrations I did was I met the audience like I did tonight and remembered everybody's name. We had a short period of time, but I did about 100 people because we had a lot of time before the show.
Right.
When I came off the air, everybody was impressed, and Ed grabbed me and said, sure, you could do that, but nobody else could. I said, no, Ed, anybody can do that, and I'll prove it to you. Out of tonight's audience, you give me a student, a business professional, give me someone in their 60s. I'll have them go through Mega Memory, the home study course, this week on their own. Next week, invite the four back to the show, and my brand new graduates do that same demonstration.
The same demonstration.
Right. And that was a great way to get back on the program.
Right, smart move.
But it was so exciting the next week to see a 67-year-old woman, by memory, rattle off over 50 people's names that she met just before the show. Everyone was so impressed when she got a standing ovation, and they grabbed her and they said, hey, how did you remember those people's names? And her answer was, I don't know. She said, I just remembered. And we all laughed hysterically. She looked at me, she says, what did you do to my memory? And I said, well, I didn't do anything. I just released the photographic instant recall memory you've had your whole life. Now it's with you forever. She grinned ear to ear, and I said, what's so funny? She said, I can't wait for my bridge club. She's going to be a terror now playing cards.
Well, I wouldn't talk to you about playing cards, and it's got to be great for business and school, but right away, how do people get this course if they want it, or information on it anyway?
Sure, Danny. If people do want information on the Mega Memory Home Study course, they can call our 800 number, which is on the screen. And as a courtesy to the viewers, we will give them an over 50% discount off the regular price of the course.
All right, now what about playing cards? Could you go to Vegas with this?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask.
Of course.
If anybody, it was funny. I did a seminar a couple years ago in Las Vegas, and we sold this thing out in a matter of days, like 2 days. 5,000 people, complete sellout. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's sellout. We get there, and there's 500 people we have to turn away at the door, and it dawned on me, and this is Las Vegas, memory cards. So I asked the crowd, I said, how many people here came because they wanted to learn how to remember playing cards? Every hand in the room went up. I said, well, it's going to be very easy to do with a powerful memory, but please don't use this as an unfair advantage against your friends to make money. A guy in the back of the room yelled out, why not?
I'm with him.
Yeah. But it is very easy for bridge players or card players, and it changes the game from one of luck to one of skill once you have an advantage.
There are two areas where this has got to be very important. One of them has to be business. Does it help in everyday business?
Yeah, it really does. You know, Dale Carnegie wrote a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Right.
It's the #2 bestseller of all time, second only behind the Bible, so it's a pretty credible book. But in that book, Carnegie discovered that a person's favorite subject is really themselves.
Right.
And a person's name is the sweetest sound in the language to each one of us. It commands attention every time it's used. But most people don't really use that fact to their advantage every single day in their business. As a matter of fact, let me ask the audience here a question by a show of hands, and be honest. How many people here has this actually happened to? You walk up to someone for the first time, shake their hand, that person gives you their name, and as soon as the handshake breaks, the name just kind of drops right to the floor. Does that happen to anybody here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
all the time.
Yeah, okay. If you didn't raise your hand to that, perhaps you didn't understand the question. It's happened to everyone, and it's very embarrassing in business by remembering names. I will say this, you go into a group situation, a cocktail party or a business meeting, and you meet 10, 20, 30 people. You leave to get goodbye to every single person with their name. I guarantee you, when you leave the room, they'll all remember you and the business you're in, because it gives you such a big advantage. You know, I was doing a show in New York not long ago, and it was a call show. A fellow called me here, he says, Kevin, I saw you on TV about 8 months ago. I bought your Mega Memory course. It was the best investment I ever made for my business. I said, why is that? He says, you see, I was applying for a job on Wall Street, a job I really wanted. The problem was 500 people were applying to the same position. So in order to set myself apart, what I did was I committed to memory every single person's name in the firm. He says, Kevin, over the 5-day interview process, I must have met over 50 people. So every day when I would walk back in, I'd call people by name that I met, like, hey, Franklin Militello, good to see you. John Cincotti, nice to see you again. They were blown away. He said, but the second thing I did was I committed to memory all 1,500 of the New York Stock Exchange companies and their stock symbols.
No way.
Yeah, 1,500.
Really?
Matter of fact, the gentleman who wrote a book on that who committed those to memory. It's very easy to do. And he said, oh, man, I was like a freak show. They'd say, hey, Charlie, come in here. You're going to check this guy out. Because I obviously got the job. I got 3 promotions since then. I go into meetings now without paper and pencil. I make presentations without notes. They call me the walking computer. He says, and the best part about it is, now because of my powerful memory, everyone thinks I'm smart. And he was kidding me, and he goes, and I don't know if it's true.
Very nice. Well, let me test you on that. How long things stay in your mind, how many you memorize.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5, of course, was Art Eastland, the name Art Eastland.
Okay, there you go. All right, so it'll help you make money in business. Now, how about school? It's got to be really important for studies. Because now I remember talking about being able to take notes faster than you can write by remembering.
Right.
Is that true? Well, that's true.
Yeah, because you remember faster than you can write things down. And they were 3 years ahead in Spanish, because foreign languages, if you ever want to learn a foreign language, has a lot to do with memory, as you know, because I know you speak Japanese.
I speak Japanese, right.
And
this has been very helpful.
And it has a lot to do with memory, learning foreign languages. But here's the most exciting statistic. Absentee rate, virtually zero.
Because school became what, more fun, more
Kids love to
interesting?
go to school. I could just imagine them in class going, teacher, don't forget that test. I studied for 20 minutes last night.
So your kids could definitely improve their grade point average by taking the memory course.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, on my first television show, we had this fellow on there who was a law student. He went from a 2.5 GPA to a 3.8 after going through Mega Memory. But more importantly, he used to study as a law student 3 to 5 hours every single day. After he went through the program, his study time went down to 1 hour a day. And his GPA went up from 2.5 to 3.8. Matter of fact, in the law firm he works in now, they call him the walking genius, because he has committed to memory virtually all the case law that he learned in school. So he'll be sitting in contract meetings and they'll mention something and he'll say, wait a minute, there was a case in 1975, it was a landmark case in St. Louis, the judge was Harrington, it was Shoemaker versus Augustine, and he'll recall all the basic information, then they'll send a gentleman to run to the law library to get the actual case. But having information at your mental fingertips like that really gives you a major advantage.
Make sure to give me his card. I've been known to use lawyers before. One more time, because I mean, people have got to be amazed by this. How can we get a hold of it, or at least get more information on the Mega Memory system?
Sure. Again, if people want to call us, they can call us at our 800 number, which is on the screen. And again, as a courtesy to the viewers, when they call for information on Mega Memory, our home study course, we'll give them an over 50% discount off the regular price of the program.
Cool. Now, what got you started in all this? What made you wake up one day and say, I think I'll be in the memory business?
Well,
I think I'll teach people to memorize things.
It was funny because a lot of people assume I had a great memory my whole life, and that really wasn't the case. I was told in high school that I had a learning disability, a memory block. I virtually flunked out of high school and never went to college. And after I found that out, I thought, I have to figure out a way to help myself to improve my own memory. And I read every book on memory, and nothing worked, because all they taught was basic word association. It didn't work. I then met a fellow who did a research report in 1975 at the Oklahoma School for the Blind in Muskogee, Oklahoma. V.R. Carter was the superintendent back then, and he took 35 blind children, and he improved their memory. These kids were blind from birth, by the way, and improved their memory in just 5 days, 15% recall ability to 90% in just a week. They were so impressed that they tested the kids 6 and 8 months later to see if it stuck, and most of the kids improved to 95 and 98% recall, so it stuck. He duplicated the results with retarded kids with IQs of only 50 and 60. And the results are almost identical. Low memory in the beginning, dramatic improvement in the 90s just a week later, and a year later in testing, almost 100% recall ability with slow retarded kids. Obviously, we knew at this point if we could teach blind and retarded kids, it had to be an ability, a powerful memory that everyone had. So I took that raw data and put together, invented, if you will, over the next year, the entire Mega Memory system that we have today, founded the Institute, and just in the last couple of years, over 2 million people now, Danny, have gone through the Mega Memory Home Study course to improve their own memory. It's the most utilized self-improvement series, as you mentioned, in history. So we're seeing the results. They're really there.
I'll tell you, along those lines, we're hearing a lot today about attention deficit disorder. Do you know that?
Yes.
You heard about that?
ADD.
Right, will this help with that?
It's a buzzword, ADD, and we're getting letters and calls more on this subject than anything else, and there are millions of people, children and adults, who are afflicted with this problem. And when I started looking at it, because it has a lot to do with memory, attention span, it didn't exist 25 years ago, 35 years ago, it didn't exist. So I thought maybe there's something physically amiss. So I started doing the research, and we tested 5,000 kids with ADD. 100% of them hypoglycemic. They eat too much sugar. 98% had food allergies, primarily monosodium glutamate, the casein in the milk, gluten in wheat, red dyes. We had 86% had low-grade virus infections, primarily in the herpes family, Epstein-Barr virus, which is associated with chronic fatigue syndrome. And then we had in the 80th percentile candidiasis, which is a yeast overgrowth. When you combine these things together, you get the symptoms of hyperactivity or a short attention span, and not just for children, for adults. So we see that there's a big correlation. There's a lot of controversy about this, by the way, because the drug Ritalin is the drug of choice to give.
Sure.
And we don't agree with that as an option. But we think through dietary change, and we discuss this in Mega Memory, some of the things and options that people can take to dramatically improve. I'll tell you a story about ADD. I was doing a show in Cleveland. A fellow called up on the air. He says, I have ADD. He says, I'm flunking calculus. I have a straight F because I can't remember the calculus equations. He goes, but Kevin, I've got your course, and in lesson 7, I teach everybody how to commit an equation to memory in 30 seconds, a calculus equation. He says, I can't believe this. I have a test tomorrow. If I can remember 20 equations, I'm going to get an A. I'm going to get 100. I says, great, Blaine, you study for half an hour tonight, and you call me tomorrow after you test, let me know how you did.
Half an hour?
Sure, because it takes 30 seconds each. So the next day he called me at my home, and I said, how'd you do? He said, well, I got good news and bad news. He goes, the good news is I got a 100% of my calculus equation exam. I go, man, that's great. He goes, yeah, I was the first person done. I go, what's the bad news? He goes, well, the bad news is the teacher won't accept the test because she figures I must have cheated to get this A.
Sure.
I said, oh, what do you have to do now? He says, I got to take it again on Friday in the principal's office. I said, now how are you going to do on Friday? And here's the best part. He says, Kevin, I can't forget these equations even if I tried. You see, when you learn information properly the first time, it's locked into the knowledge bank and you can recall it and have access to anytime in the future. Just like that list that we did earlier. To be able to go back and say, yeah, number 6 was 5412270.
That's right. All right, how about number 13 then?
Number 13, of course, was constants.
Oh, and let's go for the money. What was number 1?
And number 1, of course, was Larry Work.
All right, there you go. Now, you were talking about allergies and things like that. Is nutrition, well, I happen to know this from the course, and I find this very interesting. What is the correlation between nutrition and memory?
Yeah, there's a big connection between nutrition and memory, and Mega Memory is one of the only courses that talks about the foods that you can eat that improve memory, some of the supplements that people can take, herbs and so forth that will improve the memory function, the way the brain operates. So there's a lot to do with nutrition and memory, not only for children, but for adults. I mean, I'll just give you a prime example. Turkey, which is a wonderful food, we eat a lot of it today because it's low in fat. It's very high in something called tryptophan,
right,
which is a natural sedative. The problem is after Thanksgiving, what does everybody want to do? Take a nap.
Sleep.
Exactly. Take it, and they think, oh, it's because we ate a lot of food. No, you eat a lot of food at other holidays, but you don't fall asleep. When you eat a lot of turkey, you're putting into your body a high dose of tryptophan, and it makes you tired, physically as well as mentally. Makes you lethargic. So that's an example of something to avoid if you want to be mentally alert and mentally sharp.
I always thought turkeys were really boring. That must be what that's about.
Yeah, but let me tell you something else about this, about nutrition. I was walking in New York City, Manhattan, with the president of NFL. He's a good friend of mine. He has children. We're talking about nutrition. I was talking about how Mega Memory virtually takes that eye, as you mentioned, and turns it into a wide-angle camera and your ear into a powerful tape recorder so you record things without trying. He says, Kevin, that's amazing. He goes, let's put it to the test. So we were walking down Fifth Avenue. Describe to me one of these storefronts. I said, okay, and I thought for a second, put me off, off guard. I said, well, one of the storefronts, there was a wicker chair. As a matter of fact, the bottom rung was frayed. There was 2 brown shoes with Argyle socks. There was a black Chinese cabinet with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drawers. The 2 on the top had a dragon. It looked like a tiger on the right. And I was describing in detail the wicker basket, the fruit, the type of fruit, and so forth. He looked
Sounds like Elvis's room.
So we walked back about 15 blocks, and we found this exact storefront where everything as I described it was exactly there. Let me tell you something. This guy was impressed. When I looked in, I was impressed. I thought, wow, this really works. But that's the ability that everybody has right now, and it can be released.
How about remembering the past? Now, I know how you can teach to remember things that you're learning now, but how about things you knew back then but that you've since forgotten?
Yeah, I got a call on a talk show years ago, and this woman called up. She goes, oh, I'm so glad I'm talking to a memory expert. I went on vacation 2 years ago with my husband, and we hid our jewelry box where no one would ever find it. And she said, and no one has ever found it yet, including me. Can you help? And I said, no, I can't help. And I thought about it. And there's a lot of things, if it did come in through the senses, or even if you thought about it, it is permanently recorded in the memory. So I do have a technology now called How to Remember Things in Your Past. And it's excellent for if you lost a ring, a piece of jewelry, if you met somebody in the first grade that you think, boy, I know this person, but I can't remember his name. It is in the memory, and it can be accessed very easily.
All right. What was number 3?
Number 3 was microphone.
What was number 12?
12, of course, was book.
And 8?
8 was St. Lucia.
That's right.
There's something behind St. Lucia, right?
I happen to be going there next week on vacation, and I can't wait.
I knew that had to be.
That's amazing. Now, a lot of people are going to ask if that takes an enormous amount of practice.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you have to work at it and practice, and Mega Memory is unique in that regard. Since we're not teaching basic word association, it's not something that you have to practice like a skill to keep up or require a lot of hard work to learn. It's more an ability that's being released. And I'll give you a good analogy. We're learning how to ride a bicycle, learning how to swim, learning how to drive a manual speed transmission in a car. Once you learn how, the ability is now released. It's with you forever. There's no constant practice. I mean, if you hadn't gone swimming in 20 years, if I throw you in the deep end of a pool, you're not going to drown. No. You're going to swim like a fish. It's an ability that's been released. Or if I put you on a bicycle tomorrow, which you may have not ridden in 5, 10 years, boom, you still ride the bike. Same thing with the memory. Once it's released, it's with you forever.
All right, well, thank you very much. We've been talking with Kevin Trudeau, author of Mega Memory. Thank you very much for coming. Thanks to the critics. Thank you, and thank you, Kev.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Look, if you want to learn selling, if you want to learn marketing, you just watched, I don't want to say the master at work, but clearly something that produced unprecedented success. And so all the elements are there. All you have to do is duplicate them. Now, Kevin said, well, can you break them down? Yeah, not here on the show. I do have a course on marketing. And if you're interested in that course, I break down. And also I have a course on copywriting, and I have a course on communication. I use this show as an example of here's how to communicate, here's how to market, and copywriting is basically writing scripts. If you notice, I don't use scripts. I didn't use a teleprompter, but there is language patterns in there that I did commit to memory. So even though I haven't done that show in a long time, I could virtually give that same presentation today out of memory, and it would be almost verbatim, because there are language patterns that you do want to dial in when you're speaking. It's easy when you're writing it because you can write it, look at it again, tweak it, rewrite it, and get the perfect language pattern. That's why copywriting is always critical if you're in sales and marketing and you want to have a successful business. You have to learn how to write copy, even though you may not even do direct mail or print advertising. It's the communication cycle. And then there's marketing, online marketing. How do you market online? Which is how to produce videos. Today they call them video sales letters. I don't say infomercials anymore because the TV infomercials are on TV. Today things that are online are video sales letters, which means it's a sales letter, a written sales letter that's scripted, that is recorded with visuals. That's a video sales letter. And then there's communication. How do you communicate? How do you actually talk and get that communication cycle out there? So if a person watching wants more information on these seminars, I have them coming up soon. Just send an email to the email address at seminars@kevintrudeau.com. Send us an email, say, I want more information, and we'll send you the schedule, the prices, so you can get more information on the seminars that we have available. Most importantly, for those of you who do want to make money in any genre, marketing, what have you, you do have to have the counter-intention blocks that are in your field removed or at least diminished. People don't succeed, even if they have the right attitude and they do all the right technique. And if you still feel like you're struggling, you feel like you're swimming upstream, if you feel like nothing is going your way, if you think that it's hard, there's a reason. There are counter-intention, 33 energetic blocks that come primarily from your mother's and father's line, your ancestors. Research now has proven. I've been saying this for decades. I learned this in the Brotherhood. We cleared it out. It's cleared out royal families, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers. All real families clear out the energetic financial blocks that have come from the ancestors and from their own history, both this life and past lives. These are the blocks that are working as counter-intention. One particular block, for example, is wealthy people don't have a big block that money is good. They know that money is good. They know that money is good. It's not evil. It's not of the devil. But most poor people, because of your ancestors' religious upbringing, had misquotes of the Bible. Money is the root of all evil. Only a rich person will enter the kingdom of heaven. Poor people will inherit the earth. So they've been trained religiously that money inherently is bad, even though those are all misquotes. So you have in your ancestry, it's in your DNA, a counter-intention that money is bad. That's stopping you from actually bringing in money, where rich people don't have that counter-intention in their DNA. They know that money is good. The more money you have, the more you can help people. That's why rich people are always big givers. They use that money to help others. Andrew Carnegie gave away hundreds of billions of dollars to build all types of wonderful libraries. The Rockefellers have given away hundreds of billions of dollars. You may think they're evil people, but they still gave away all this money in philanthropic work to help mankind and produce a better society. And you may not agree with some of the other things they've done, but they still gave money because they believe that money is good. That is inherently in your DNA. And unless you clear it out, you are going to have that block and that counter-intention for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a struggle to make money. So how do you get rid of it? The way you get rid of it is through a process where somebody can go in, who can see energy, knows what they're looking for, and clear that out or transmute it. Can you do it on your own? It's difficult, quite frankly, because your bank, your your energy is so strong that you can almost never overpower it. You need someone else in the same room or talking with you directly or connected to you so that you can overpower it together. Or somebody who knows what they're doing where they're doing it for you. And the example is if you're in the pit, you just can't climb up the wall. You can't get out no matter how hard you try, no matter how bad you want to. So somebody has to reach down and give you a hand up. Or if you have your legs broken, they need to actually not just help you, but actually put down a basket, you get in the basket, and actually pull you up. It depends on how bad off you are. So money is the same way. So if you're interested in getting the money processes, and we deliver these every month here in Chicago, I take you to dinner. Or if you can't come to Chicago, we send somebody, person that I've trained, I send them directly to you, and they deliver the money processes right in front of you in a hotel meeting room. And this is going to change your life. And how do I know this? Because I get emails every day from people all over the world that says, I did the money process. I did one money process, or I did 10, or I did 30. And the results are coming in every day, and it's overwhelmingly positive, and it looks like miracles. If you wrote these in a book, and I'm going to have the Money Processes Miracle Book, and people are going to think it's fictitious. It isn't. It's real. It's documented. It's substantiated. This is what's really happening to real people just like you. This stuff works. And if you want to make money, consider sending in an email to moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. We'll put that on the screen, Money Processes, and just say, I want more information. Our staff will get back to you, give you the list of dates and locations, the prices. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions, either via email or on the phone. Make sure you feel comfortable, and then you can get them delivered. These are magical things that are available to you. But watch that show, that Danny Bonaduce show again, because it's giving you all the secrets of marketing. I'm giving you this, and I'm going to give you more on upcoming shows here. I'll drop some hints here on the show too. I'll drop a little nuggets of gold. Actually, my nuggets of gold aren't nuggets of gold. They're gold mines. So take advantage of that. I'm Kevin Trudeau. Thanks for watching. Remember, we broadcast every Monday and Wednesday live at 1 o'clock Chicago time. We are on multiple platforms: Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Pick the platform that you're most comfortable with. But I will tell you that we have more material, more videos and audio material on Rumble than any place else because they don't do any censoring. So there's a lot of things that I reveal that I'm afraid to reveal. I'm not afraid. I know I can't. Otherwise, we'll get taken off. There's things that I reveal that I put on Rumble only that are not on Spotify and Apple and YouTube, because those platforms will probably censor us and take me off the air. So if you want to watch our shows, pick the platform of your liking, but you should subscribe to all of them. Make sure you hit that like button. That's very important to get more people watching the show. Share the show with everybody. Leave some comments. Tell your friends. Take advantage of this. And very soon we will be going to 5 days a week, and I will be doing a Sunday show on the spiritual laws of success, where I will be teaching directly out of the Bible, the Mahabharata, the Vedas, the Ramayana, and the Quran, as well as the Zohar and other spiritual text. That'll be a Sunday show. And I know it's not Shabbos. I know it's not the Sabbath. But you're supposed to rest on the Sabbath. So I'll do it on Sunday, first day of the week. So take advantage of all this stuff. Remember, you can be, do, and have anything you desire. You have what it takes. Just don't let anyone steal your dream. Much love, everybody, and may you never be the same.